2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Am I supposed to wave? Oh, sorry.
Oh my goodness.
So, hello everybody, my name is Ruben Silva, and today I'm going to dissect your brain a little bit. That's because, to me, the brain is one of the most fascinating organs ever. And just to put in perspective, between your ears right now, you have approximately 100 billion neurons. To illustrate what that looks like is, in the galaxy, there's about 100 billion stars. So we have all this processing power available to us, yet still we get caught in specific ways of thinking. I'll give you an example. So at work, they'll often call a meeting where they have a problem and they want to open up the floor for solutions. You get this group of people who talks about, well, you could do this, or you could do this, and what about this? And then you have another group of people who are consistently like, well, no, that's not going to work. What about budget? What about time constraints? So why are these ways of thinking at odds with each other? Well, here's why. So this is a very basic illustration here of the brain and the two hemispheres. You have the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere. The right hemisphere is responsible primarily for creative thinking or divergent thinking. And that's where you get creativity, that's where you get outside the box thinking. And the left hemisphere is where you get your logical reasoning, things of that nature. So both are very important, both are very unique. They play their own roles. However, they work best when they complement one another. So first, let's take a look at divergent thinking. So according to Hyrie Park, divergent thinking takes open-ended problems or questions and moves towards many options or solutions. So basically that just means that divergent thinking is brainstorming. It's where the sky's the limit, where you're not constrained by certain specifications or limitations or things like that. It's basically where there's no rationalization or logic confining your thoughts. So now that you have a brief understanding of what divergent thinking is, we'll look at what convergent thinking is, and that's the counterpart. And the Creative Research Journal classifies convergent thinking as thinking that leads to a single best answer, leaving no room for ambiguity. So that pretty much means that convergent thinking is just strictly logical. It's based off of previous knowledge of ours that gives us better understanding of what has worked in the past, what will work, and it draws on all those to have us basically find a solution that will work, that will actually work in reality. So that's what it boils down to, is breaking something down into its constituent pieces, and regardless of all the other possibilities, seeing what actually works for us for that particular solution. So having looked at both, you're probably asking, well, which one is best, right? So Huo, through his work on the Journal of Management Accounting Research, has seen that effective solutions to creative problems require both divergent and convergent thinking. So the prevailing theory is that we should not do them both in the same sitting. It should be done separate. And the reasoning is because our brains naturally have an aversion to multitasking. Many of you have seen that multitasking can be kind of hard to do, right? So what we do, and the recommendation is for you to do it in a batch type system, where the first time you approach it, you do it with a divergent process, which allows you to brainstorm and have all these possible solutions to draw from. And then you're supposed to step away and then reapproach the problem with convergent thinking, where you boil it back down to what will actually work. So basically this boils down to, they're both very important. They both serve a purpose and a place, but there's a specific methodology for making sure that they can work with one another. So next time you encounter a solution or a problem that requires some thinking, don't get discouraged, because between your ears and in your head, you really have a galaxy to work with. Anybody have any questions? No? Well, thank you very much for your time.
Cool. Good job.